Hey folks, Matt from artoftheimage.com. Got a great comment on the Sony a6300, some great feedback here from Yuri, Zangiev. And he says, I agree about the touchscreen, but disagree about the articulating screen. And this was in regards to someone pointing out that they don't really care about touchscreens, don't like touchscreens, but he disagrees in the sense that he wants the articulating screen. So for Yuri, no touchscreen, but he wants an articulating screen. He says, it could be a very useful feature for many photographers and videographers. For me, is one of the most important specs when I choose my camera. Of course, if you're a studio landscape or some nature shooter, you won't use this spec in most cases. Now that's an interesting observation, because actually with an articulating screen, I use it an awful lot in those exact cases. Often in the studio, I use it for landscape and nature all the time. I can get down at a perspective on the ground or up over above. Often in a situation where maybe I'm at a fence and I can put the camera up and over or something like that, where I couldn't have got to it without that articulating screen. So to me, the articulating screen brings absolutely a world of possibilities, opens up by having it, especially both for video and for photography. But I like it, it's even more important for video, but I love it for photography. I use it a lot for photography too. Where I differ with Yuri here is I love the touchscreen, and I think it's a great feature. I think all cameras should have it. I think it's the way of the future. I think they're all gonna have it. So I think it's kind of a moot point that way. I think you're gonna see them all have it. It's just a question of some companies are slower to adopt. And I think the more people use it, the less we're going to see people not liking it. Yuri, if you use a camera with a touchscreen for a longer period of time, I think it's going to grow on you. And I think anybody with a similar opinion is going to find the same thing. There'll probably be a small subset of people who that's not the case for. But in general, this is great technology, and I think eventually everybody will adopt it. I think of it as like when the SD card came out. I was still using compact flash, most of the cameras were, and I thought it was too small and finicky. Now, I don't like compact flash. I like the SDs. I think there's less to break on them, there's no pins involved, and they've gotten cheaper and they're small and light. So to me, it's that same type of thing. You just have to adjust your mindset as new technology. You get used to it, you get familiar with it, and then you grow to like it. And for me, I got familiar with and grew to like the touchscreen very fast. Same with the articulating screen. As I've said many times, I don't like cameras that don't have a touchscreen and don't have a fully articulating screen. And for me, that was a bit of a bummer on the Sony a6300, that it doesn't have a touchscreen. I like that it has a flip-up screen, but I would have preferred an articulated screen. So, Yuri, here's a different opinion. Doesn't care about the touchscreen, but does very much want the articulated screen. What do you guys think about touchscreens and articulated screens? Do you care about, is one more important than the other? Do you want both of them? Or are you like Yuri? Do you prefer, you really got to have an articulating screen, but the touchscreen not so much? Are there people out there who really want the touchscreen but don't care as much about the articulating screen? Leave some comments below. Let's discuss it. Articulating screens, touch screens, whether it's the Sony a6300 or another camera. Just how do you feel about them in general? Thanks for your comment, Yuri. And thanks, folks. We'll be back soon here at artoftheimage.com.